Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Damo, and on today's video we're going to go through 5 reasons why we bought this 2008 Mark III Mazda MX5 Roadster Coupe. Okay, before we get started on this pedal out video, don't forget, if you haven't done already, please subscribe to the channel, click the little bell icon, and then you'll get notified whenever we do a new video. Cheers. Number 5 then, if you're looking for a sports car, the default answer is always the MX5. This car is lauded by the motoring press and enthusiasts. So most of the foibles that you got with the previous versions of the Mark I and Mark II MX5 were sort of ironed out with the Mark III. And you got things like power steering, you got airbags, you got traction control, you got heated seats. Now all of that may sound pretty obvious now to most people in the modern car world, but back then you have to remember that most models, a lot of the models of those Mark I, Mark II MX5s didn't come with any of those things. So although the MX5 was a very good all-round package and driver's car, it did lack some of those more modern things that you sort of get used to. The Mark III sort of sorted that out, so you get the best of all worlds. You get that kind of true British sports car recipe, but you get all the other additional sort of safety things that you kind of need and want for modern day motoring. If you asked on piston heads, for example, what sports car should I buy, guaranteed most of the answers and responses on there will be some way, shape or form an MX5. This car is just lauded for its all-roundness, its package as a whole. It's hard to beat. Number 4 then, perfect balance and handling. Yeah, that perfect balance. It's not quite 50-50, but it's as good as. And it's a recipe that for me I really like in a car. Engine up front, powering the rear wheels. It's a little small sports car. It's not supercar mad and powerful. And it just has that kind of balance and poise and handling. It works really, really well, and you'll see that in the plethora of MX5 videos that exist on YouTube. You don't need me to tell you that. I think now just more renowned than anything really as the de facto sports car. Look up sports car in the dictionary, I'm sure it probably says MX5 these days. Number 3 then. It's beautiful Snickety gear change, and it's a thing to behold. It sounds so obvious and it's synonymous and people go on about it a lot, but it's quite easy to sort of forget about and ignore and take for granted, I guess, if you've got one of these cars. So many manual cars, especially more modern fare, when you're driving them just feel a little bit kind of sloppy and a bit mundane. They don't sort of entertain you or reward you as a driver, and it's about that kind of experience and feeling of all of the things that connect you to the car, and one of those key things being the gearbox. And in this car they say everybody bolt action rifle blah blah blah, it's cliche, but cliches exist for a reason, largely because they're true, and this really is. It's tight. I mean, this car's got what, 65,000 miles on it. It's a 2008. It's quite old now. This gearbox just feels totally and utterly fresh and ready and raring to go into action. It's great. Number 2, adaptability. So this is a Roadster Coupe. Somewhat, if you do some research, controversial because it's not a true soft top in the truest sense of the word, but to me that gives you the best of all worlds. And although essentially this roof is in theory, well, not in theory, it is in practice plastic, it does make you feel a little bit more cosseted inside here. It gives you a bit more, I suppose, reassurance how true that is. And it actually, because of the plasticness of it, doesn't add a whole lot of weight above the convertible, about 40 kilos, and you've got to be really kind of going with this car to notice that difference. Also, it doesn't, unlike some tin top hard tops I've had before, like the BMW M3, it doesn't impinge at all on the boot space, which when I found that out I was like, that's incredible. So yeah, you get that kind of best of all worlds, and I actually don't necessarily think it makes the car any uglier with the roof up. I think it kind of makes it look kind of cool and pretty coupe-like, and a lot of people might find that a little bit controversial, but that's just my view. What it also means is that it's a little bit quieter in here and just feels a little bit more watertight, and I know it's probably just perception, but you do feel a little bit safer. And number one reason why we bought this MX5, sentimentality. Because in the past, before we had kids, we owned a Mark 1 black MX5, and it represents a time in our lives when we were, I suppose, a little bit more carefree, younger, a little bit more free and loose. And maybe, I guess we're trying to recapture a little bit of that with this Mark 3 version, albeit it's got a few more extras in terms of safety, airbags, ABS, traction control, which the Mark 1 we had didn't. So yeah, it's almost like it's a trip down memory lane. Now that all sounds a little bit cheesy, I guess you could say, and some people might even call it a midlife crisis. Now, I'm not a fan of that term or phrase at all, because I've owned crazy sports car-y type things all my life, really. So let's not call it that. Let's call it a midlife celebration. We're out now to enjoy this car and have fun in it, and yeah, do that kind of connection with the past, to a time when you felt a bit off of a free spirit, and it kind of invokes that in you. I like that. It's nice. It's cool. Okay, thanks for watching this pedal out video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Write in the comments, tell us what you think, and don't forget, if you haven't done already, please subscribe to the channel, click the little bell icon, and then you get notified whenever we do another video. Cheers.